Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, this particular violent Mexican guy threw rocks, concrete blocks, and whichever other things he was throwing at these ICE vehicles and whichever other ICE vehicles. The violence that has been portrayed so much within the last couple of months by certain sections within certain Hispanicism and some other ones that have a like-minded mindset. And the thing about it is, under Hispanicism, which is very broad, I don't think it means speak Spanish. But the number one is, again, I'm not talking about numbers of good ones. So we're not going to play the little silly freaking tactic. But under Hispanicism, the top one that has broken more immigration laws, the ones have caused more damage and vandalism to however ICE vehicles and other law enforcement vehicles and etc. has been ones within a certain type of Mexican category, right? Well, it's not all stop. Go to Haiti. We're not going to play that tactic. See, as long as the conversation is geared toward what Black Americans are supposedly doing, right? When some don't do certain things right, which is very small, right? See, as long as the conversation is about Black Americans, should I say, and especially if some are doing wrong, oh my goodness, look at the Black American people. Look at the Black American males. Oh my goodness, they always talking about racism. Look at they're always violent. You see how that goes, right? Even though the number one people commit the most violence, the number one people who commit the most white collar crime, the number one people who sit there and have the most affirmative action, the number one people who get the most DEIs, it's the number one people who have more. Anyway, is personnel within various sections of Panama-based culture. But you see how these little disgusting game goes, right? So in this particular topic, as I've already said, this particular violent Mexican man threw these rocks and concrete blocks and etc. at ICE vehicles. And how many other people just like him have been participating in this? There is two videos that I also attach in the description. One is where there's two additional videos that I attached. One in the description. One was relating to the anti-numbers of Hispanics. The numbers of Hispanics that are against any type of sovereigntiness of protection of the American borders, relating to protection over from border break, illegal immigrants, and other type of people. I'll put that in the description. And another video was about this particular Mexican woman who, and some other violent ones, was in Omaha, Nebraska. That's pretty far from the border. That they were sitting there and shown throwing rocks at ICE agent vehicles too as well, right? Those two things are in the description if anybody's interested. I'm seeing that. And also she was utilizing the N word. And this is why the N word needs to be thrown into space. It is not a term of endearment. It is a reckless word. It is a destructive word, right? But that's a different topic in itself. So let me go ahead and, by the way, play this first video, but look at this as well. Because American Blacks are supposed to be the personnel that's supposed to fight for this nonsensical, made up, mythological. Actually, you have more belief in mythological guys than you sit there and hear people talking about there's really a black and brown coalition. Do you understand that? There's no such thing as black and brown. Where you got numbers of black people that have brown skin. Let these people play games. And look at this right here. Let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. But you got certain numbers of Hispanics, the ones that applies to, they don't want black folks to sit there and look at this kind of stuff. American blacks, shall I say. You see this game on this. And it is an interesting tactic. Because they really do think millions of American blacks are stupid. So let me go ahead and share my screen on this video. This is not going to be a long show whatsoever on that. So let me share my screen. I get tired of the hypocrisy that continues to keep happening and stuff like this. Let me give me one moment. Show my screen. Give me one moment here. Okay, here we go. Man accused. All right, make sure you can see that part. Let me get that off there. So you see this already. Make sure you can see that. Man accused. You see how they already minimize it. Mexican man accused of hurling concrete blocks at CBP, Customs and Border Patrol cars, and Paramount in California, arrested at U.S.-Mexican border. All right. Give me a second here. Let's read this. A man, again, they're minimizing, right? A Mexican man accused of throwing concrete blocks at immigration enforcement officers in Paramount, California, was arrested on Wednesday, July 23rd at the U.S.-Mexican border. El Padillo Reina, 39, fled to Mexico in June 2025 after allegedly injuring a federal officer and damaging vehicles. Reina surrendered to, however, these particular agents after negotiations and will appear in Los Angeles court. A Compton man, you see how they go? By the way, for half a second, see, you have to watch these little sly, slickster, snake salesman type of ass rhetoric, right? You need the word Compton. See, if you don't know any better, see, for the people who do know, see, especially back in the 90s and 80s, you hear the word Compton and South LA and Long Beach. And for many people, it was just a stereotype version of what they thought black neighborhoods looked like, which there was not. Like, black neighborhoods are not a monolithic. They have various type areas, some not so good, some okay, some rich neighborhood, black American, stuff like that. But again, they love to show a certain section, what they think is like a Boys in the Hood type movie, right? Or a certain type of a hip hop type video that they think that's what black people stay. And in Compton, when you look up the demographics, we're talking about right now, Compton is gigantically majority Hispanics and primarily going to be Mexicans. Just like South Los Angeles used to be probably around the 80s or something like that, used to be a little bit more black Americans. Now it is gigantically Hispanics, mostly Mexicans, right? On that. And there is an agenda to that. And there are numbers of black Americans up there in LA and those areas. Oh, they will tell you there are numbers of Mexicans who can't stand the guts out of black Americans, right? But they still think black Americans are supposed to fight their battles. They really do think black Americans are stupid, like some other different cultures and backgrounds, including some black adjacent hodders who know their asses are. A Hispanic Compton man who allegedly threw concrete blocks at federal officers at Paramount in June 2025 was taken to custody Wednesday morning at the U.S.-Mexico border. According to the such and such investigation people, what we know, El Padillo Reina, 39 of Compton, was arrested at the San Isidro port of entry by such and such agents with assistance from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Reina was wanted in connection with an alleged assault on a federal officer in Paramount, California on June 7, 2025. On that day, Border Patrol had set up staging area when they were confronted by violent protesters, agitators, then started throwing what was later turned by such and such entity to be concrete blocks and glass bottles toward authorities, who fired back with tear gas. Videos obtained by such and such people show Border Patrol agents leaving the tense situation while their vehicle was hit by numerous rocks. The such and such media, social media videos, and such and such place, main media, one of these place news report to identify the rock thrower as Reina, one of them. On that, one federal officer was alleged injured during the incident, and several government vehicles were injured on that. I mean, my goodness. Imagine if that was black Americans who sit there and did that. And you ask most people, you say, what is again one of the most powerful countries on this planet? You have somebody who won't think twice about it, be it right, be it wrong. They'll say the U.S. Who has the most nuclear capabilities? The U.S. Who has the largest military on this planet? The U.S. And you're telling me and our people that if you really wanted to have people sit there and secure those borders, they wouldn't be secured. And this anti uh legal way of immigration, this violence, protesting of don't want people to sit there and have a sovereignty to have their borders protected in America from border breakers and however terrorism type personnel and et cetera, that they don't have the right to do that. Are you crazy? It is allowed. And if Black Americans were throwing rocks and concrete blocks at officials and stuff like that, do you not know how fast super laws will be put real fast? You think I ain't going to all that. But this is a little game, right? On that. Let me go ahead and play this particular video too. I want you to imagine if that would have been Black Americans doing that. And there's already this animosity by however bad seeds, and you got certain these Ku Klux Klan type of people and all these other rest of the people who think like them and these other cultures and backgrounds want to apply to and Black adjacent hodders and people like that already sit there and had this nerve to talk about Black Americans, right? They're lazy. They're too loud. Black Americans, they're lazy. They're always talking about racism as if racial racism ever stopped toward American blacks going for centuries, right? It's just you have people that have now even more to get a chance to sit there and enjoy the benefits off of Black pain, right? But look at this. Oh, I'm just gonna stop in a few seconds. Anybody can be in those vehicles, right? So let me stop this one. Give me a second here. Let me stop this and let me go back and. But by the way, if I show the other one, but remember, Black Americans supposed to be the fighters for pro border breaker legal immigrants, right? Like this right here. Let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with that Negro animal. Right? And it can be, and it's almost an insult, and they really do think millions of American blacks are so stupid. Now, there is quite a number of gullible ones and some naive ones that don't even get it. There is no such thing as Black and brown. There are Black people that have brown skin. Let alone, how about the Afro-Hispanic people across that border that catch hell? You got people gonna be quiet on that. So let me go ahead and go back and share my screen. Oh, and by the way, see, let's don't get it confused now. There are border breaker legal immigrant numbers of women. They sit back and play innocent, just like certain women within certain parts of Panamanian culture. They play, they play demonic and they'll try to play angelic, right? They'll try to play hardcore feminist, then try to play traditional, right? You see how that little dynamic go. They very sneaky too. But see, these border breaker legal immigrant numbers of women and some other people, see this, they want this free type stuff, this Similac infant meal, right? Get those food stamps, popping out babies like they going out, like they popping out, fish sticks, right? Bam, bam, bam. And then what happens? Bam, automatic citizenship. Off the 14th Amendment, off of who again? Black pain. I mean, the games is wild. So there's some sneakiness going on with numbers of border breaker illegal immigrant type of women too. So just want to sit there, don't get it confused. There's quite a number of them that want to play innocent. They're popping out kids left and right. And there are numbers of American blacks that don't see that kind of tactic what's going on. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I think this might be one of the last videos. Might be one of the last quick videos attached. Like I said, this wasn't gonna be a long one. Now this is when this is when this violent type Mexican guy got captured. What about you, man?
You're under arrest for assaulting federal agents.
El Padillo Reina surrendered today. Well, surrendered at the U.S.-Mexico border to face a felony charge of assault on a federal officer for throwing rocks and whatever it is, rocks at passing law enforcement vehicles on Paramount in California on June the 7th.
You're under arrest for assaulting federal agents.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they expect American blacks to sit there and fight for this cretin of a violent perp. But at the same time, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. See the hypocrisy of this white Hispanic. Felix Terrorino, Mexican American president of LULAC, 1956-1960. On that. And the thing about there is an agenda that's going on. Yes. The Latino or Hispanic world order. The ones who are doing this. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.